Hey everyone, this is the EG2 tutorial for Ask, Seek, Pray by River Valley Worship. I have a cover of this song that I'll have linked below, so if you haven't seen it, check it out so you know what you're about to learn. But one thing I want to mention for this song is that if you have two electric players at your church, I have separate Electric 1 and Electric 2 parts, covers, and hopefully tutorials, and I'll have them linked below, so you guys can each learn one and then they'll complement each other when you play. Otherwise, if you're the only one holding it down, I also have a separate cover that's labeled the lead guitar cover for this song, and I took what I felt like were the most important pieces from each of the parts and combined them into one. So check them out below, make sure you're learning the right one, and otherwise let's get into it. Here's the tutorial. Alright, so the first part that this guitar plays in this song is this little ascending part in the intro and verses. We're going to listen to it and I'll play it quick and then I'll break it down for you. Okay, so that part starts on the 5th fret of the D string and goes to the 7th fret of the D string, 5th fret of the G string, sliding up to the 7th fret of the G string. So 5th, 7th of the D, 5th, 7th of the G. But make sure to slide from the 5th to the 7th on the G string. And that part plays on the intro, stops in the verse, comes back on like the pre-chorus stuff, and then we drop out for the chorus. And when we come back in for verse 2, we play the same part. The only thing I do is I put my volume pedal to 100%. I generally run before the first chorus of the song at like 80%, and then I bump up to 100 for that verse 2 stuff where it's a little bit bigger. The next part that we come in is technically the second chorus, and I'll play that quick and then we'll break it down. Alright, so that part picks on and off from three notes on the G string, one note on the B string. The B string is always keep your pinky on the 13th fret of the B string. So keep your pinky there, and then we're going to move our pointer finger around, starting on the 9th fret of the G string. So we're going to pick there to the B string, and then we're just going to move it up one half step, so here, 1 fret, to the 10th fret, and then we hammer on our ring finger on the 12th fret of the G string. So that should be 9, 10, 12. And hitting that high C or that B string in between every note. So, and then just walking back down, back to the 10, back to the 9. So putting together. So pretty simple. We play that through the whole chorus, and then we come in with almost the same shape on the refrain, which I'll play and then we'll break down. Alright, so that part's going to be super similar to what we were doing during the chorus. And it's going to be 3 shapes, like the last one was. So the first shape is going to be like this. It's going to be the 10th fret of the D string, the 9th fret of the G string, and then the 13th fret of the B string. So that's how it's going to look. And you're going to be strumming that. And make sure to mute the top 2 strings, or the E string and the A string, and then the high E. Make sure to mute those. You don't want those coming through. You just want those 3 strings coming through. And so we're going to go from that And then all we're going to do is move our pointer finger up. And what I like to do is bar the 10th fret of the D string and the G string. And then we're hitting still the 13th fret on the B string. So we're coming down from here. And then after that, we add our ring finger on the 12th fret of the G string. And still hitting so that'd be the 10th, the 12th, and the 13th fret of the D, G, and B. And then we walk back down just like that we did last time and pull our pinky off. And then for the last shape, we go back to this, which is the 10th fret of the D string, 9th fret of the G string, and the 13th fret of the B string. So strumming that slowly, that would look like this. And then we come barring here. And then bringing our ring finger up on the 12th fret. And just walking that again up and down, just like we did during the chorus, but this time just adding a little bit more meat to it. The next part that we have is a fun high part in the bridge, which I'll play and then we'll break down.
So pour out your spirit, Lord, I pray. Come let a revival fill this place. And stir up our faith for greater things. Lord, we ask, we seek, we pray.
All right, so we play that part for the next bridge and the bridge after that. And one thing I'd like to note for this is that a guitar does not sound that high naturally. If you have a Helix or you have pedals and you're able to use a dual pitch effect, that would be great. It helps it get that high end. Otherwise, just play it in one of those two spots that I'll show you here, and it should sound okay. It just won't have quite the same pop. If you are using an octave pedal, I am running the mix at about 80%. With just a 1 octave high, and then the octave low I have at like super low volume, just very quiet. It's probably not needed. So if you have the dual pitch or an octave pedal, go ahead and use it, boost that high octave. Otherwise, you can just learn these parts. And there's two ways to play this. This one here I'll show first. It's probably easier if you don't want to get way up high on your neck, and if you don't, some guitars aren't quite as long as ours, so I'll show you this one here. So this is going to be making a D shape on the 12th and 13th frets. You're going to be just playing the top 3 strings, or the G string, B string, and E string. And so you're going to be barring here on the 12th fret with your pointer finger, and then adding 13th fret on the B string here. So it should sound like this. And so for your first note, you're going to be putting your pinky up on the 15th fret of the E string, and then hitting this 13th fret of the B string, then moving your pinky to the 15th fret of the B string. So far that's here, 15th of the E, 13th of the B, 15th of the E, and then we're barring this high E string on the 12th fret here. So we can hit that note here, 12th fret of the E. So far that's here, 15th of the E, 13 of the B, 15 of the B, 12 of the E. And you can leave it there if you want. Otherwise, I like to come back to the 12th fret of the G string. Don't slam that note, but just kind of let it ring out. So just kind of hit it on your way back past. So let's do that again slow. 15th of the E, 13 of the B. And again, keep this shape here the whole time. Don't move this one at all. You're just moving this pinky around. 15 of the E, 13 of the B, 15 of the B, and then hitting that E string up high. So that's one way to play the part. The other way to play this part is going to be up here, and for the sake of counting, I'm going to basically pretend this is the 0. So this is going to be 3, 5, 7, 9. So just start over counting so we don't have to get up into like the 19s of which fret. So starting on would be the 8th fret of the B string, back to the 5th fret of the G string, 7th fret of the G, 5th fret of the B, and then we're 5th fret of the D. Again, slowly. That's the 8th fret of the B, 5th fret of the G, 7th fret of the G, 5th fret of the B, and then back to the 5th fret of the D. So 8th, 5th, 7th, 5th, 5th. So play that back if you need to, or if you got it, great. So just get used to it. It's a little bit hard to hit, but you'll get a hold of it. And once you add your octave pedal in, it sounds super good. Make sure that's heavy drive and some reverb and stuff on there. The next part we play is chorus 3, and I'll play that and then we'll break it down. After the bridge, and we're going to be driving some octaves here. And so the first one is based off of the D string here. It's on the 7th fret of the D, 7th fret of the D, and then it is the 10th fret of the B string. So 7th and 10th. And we're going to be strumming this, so I like to bring my middle finger up and mute the top 2 strings, mute the other ones if you can, because you don't want the other strings bleeding through. You just want just those 2. And so we're going to drive there. We're going to move the whole shape up 2 frets, and when we're moving this shape around, I like to think about just keeping 2 empty frets between my fingers. So I kind of base it off the D string here with my pointer, and then just keep 2 empty frets to where my pinky goes. So we're going to move this up 2 frets. So this will be the 9th fret of the D and the 12th fret of the B. And then a half step up again to the 10th fret of the D and the 13th fret of the B. So that shape starting based off the 9th fret here, 7th fret and 10th fret, sliding up 2 frets to the 9th and the 12th, half step, which is 1 fret, up here to where it's the 10th and the 13th. Then we're going to be switching strings to here, where we're going to be on the 8th fret of the A string and the 10th fret of the G string. So 8th and 10th. So with this shape, we're just doing 1 empty fret in between. And then we're going to just go half step down with this after this to where it's the 7th and the 9th fret of the A and the G. So just half step down. So starting again, this is the 7th fret of the D, 10th fret of the B. Move this shape up 2 frets, up another half fret, and then we're going to this shape here, the switching shapes, to the 8th and the 10th on the A and the G respectively. So here, I'm bringing it down. So if you have to play that back, there's that. And then I like to do this little riff. I heard it and I liked it. You certainly do not have to. You can just drive this through back to starting again. But if you want to do the riff, you start on the 5th fret of the G string, and then you go to the 7th fret of the G string, and then 5th fret of the B. So 5th, 7th, 5th, and then to 5th of the G, and 7th of the G. And do that twice. And I actually don't hit the 7th of the G the second time, because we're going to be landing on the 7th of the D string, going back to that octave shape. So very, very slowly, taking this whole section from the top. Writing the shape here on the D and the B string. With the D string starting on the 7th fret of the D. Starting here, octaves, 2 frets up, 1 fret up. And then we're going to go changing shapes here to the A and the G string. And the A is on the 8th fret. And then have 1 fret down. And then we come to this riff. And if you want, otherwise you just drive this through. but it's 5th, 7th, 5th, 5th, 7th. And then from there I go right to, again, this shape, resetting on the 7th fret on the D, to the 8th fret, just change shapes on the A and the G, half step down. So let's take it from the top just one last time. Drives us back into the last bridge set, which is one last shape, which I'll play, and then we'll break it down. Alright, so the last set of bridges, we're going to be sliding up from our octave set. We're going to be sliding up to this shape where we were actually a little bit ago. And we're going to be barring the same 12th fret on the G, B, and E strings. And then adding our middle finger on the 13th fret of the B. Should kind of sound like that. And we're just be strumming them. I kind of do like quarter notes or whatever it's called in 6/8, but. And then we're going to be bringing our middle finger down to barring the high E string on the 13th. So it's 12th, 13th, 13. Just adding a 4 or a sus. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Resolve. So bring that back off. 1, 2, 3. And then I add a 15th fret of the B string. And for that, try not to strum the high E string. So mute it. I actually end up muting with my pinky of my strumming hand back here. I just rest my pinky against it so it doesn't go anywhere. But that's kind of one cycle. So going back from the top, it would be 12, 13, 12 of these 3 strings. And then 12, 13, 13, bringing this middle finger down. Back to 12, 13, 12. And then 12, 15. Also, if you'd like, when I'm playing this, sometimes I add a 15th of the high E before I go to the 4 chord. So we're strumming here on the 12, 13, 12. So you just see I added that 15 of the high E for just a couple seconds. Back to resolve. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, there's all the parts you need to play Electric 2 for Ask, Seek, Pray. If this was helpful, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video. Also, if you could comment another song, tutorial, or cover that you'd like to see, it helps me decide which one to do next. So I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.